What's up, those TCG here, and welcome to another TCG video on my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about all the worst Pokemon cards that were ever printed during release, which means they could be used at specific tournaments during that period in time. Because my last video about all the banned Pokemon cards was such a great success and had so many reactions, I thought I'd make more informational videos just besides the competitive videos on my channel. If you're into the competitive scene, definitely check my episodes that come out on a weekly basis on Wednesday. Okay, let's get this list going. We're going from oldest to newest, and this is just my opinion, but yeah, just thinking about these cards is actually objective enough, because these cards are not good at all. If I forget a few throughout the journey here, let me know in the comment section what you think is a really terrible card at the time that it was printed. Okay, we're gonna start off with the base set, of course, and here I'm gonna check it out with two cards here. We have Ghastly first with 30 HP. It does seem kind of interesting here with the weakness and resistance to fighting and no retreat cost at all, but this card is definitely not a great Ghastly card, and in the fossil set it got already reprinted and to a better version of the card, but this card only has 30 HP and it has an interesting attack, Sleeping Gas, flip a coin if has the defending Pokemon is now asleep. This is kind of neat to trap something in the active position, but yeah, your opponent will only stay asleep for 50% of the time, which is not a lot, and then they knock you out because you only have 30 HP. Destiny Bond, on the other hand, discards a Psychic Energy attached to this Ghastly in order to use the attack, and if a Pokemon knocks Ghastly out during your opponent's next turn, we also knock that Pokemon out. The bad thing is that your opponent can just simply say, I am not attacking, and boom, it's done. So with that, you wasted an energy, and this Ghastly just stands there. It cannot attack and only put you asleep, and that's why it's just not a great card. It cannot attack, and it gets one-shotted by almost anything at that particular point in time. As mentioned, it got reprinted in the fossil set as a better Ghastly. That Ghastly has a way better attack, so that's why nobody used the base set Ghastly anymore. Also, a fun fact here in the evolution set, the Ghastly got an extra 10 HP, and also his attacks completely changed, which says a lot about the card in time. Okay, next up I want to talk about a Porygon card. This Porygon card might seem interesting here because it has some attacks that make it kind of overpowered, but then again, look at the HP that Porygon has. It only has 30 HP, just like Ghastly. At that point in time, when the base set got released, there was no Porygon 2, no Porygon Z, so we had to stick around with Porygon. Porygon had retreat cost, which was really terrible to get it out of the active position. Also, his attacks also dealt no damage. Its first attack, conversion 1, states if the defending Pokemon has a weakness, you may change it to a type of your choice other than Careless. So you could choose the weakness of the opponent, which could be interesting here, but then again, your opponent already takes an extra prize card, and is it worth it to sacrifice a Porygon just to get yourself the weakness on the opposing active Pokemon? I don't think so. You waste an energy, you waste a prize card, and yeah, it's just not that good. Conversion 2 is even worse, change Porygon's resistance to a type of your choice, other than Carlos. So you could put something here that you want to have resistance to, but then again, your opponent can get out of that position, switching around to another Pokemon, and boom, Porygon again hits the discard. So Porygon, a really terrible card when it first came out, and actually this is a card I would never put in my deck, that is for sure. Okay, moving on, we have a Marowak. Now you say, wow, Marowak, it's a fighting type. That was a really great type to be at the moment, because there were threats like Chansey and Tauros and stuff, but this Marowak is in here not for his first attack. It's kind of decent. We flip 2 coins and deal 30 damage for each heads. That is definitely not a bad attack for that particular point in time, but that Call for Friend attack, wow. Thinking about that attack, I would already not attach any energies to my Marowak. It's a stage 1, so we even have to evolve it, and we can search our deck for a fighting basic Pokemon card and put it onto our bench. Then we shuffle our deck. Wow. Call for Friend for 3 energies. Who would actually attach an extra energy to our Marowak to use that attack? You could just use something like a Bill, or even the Professor Oak to get yourself a fresh hand and definitely get yourself a bench Pokemon, and boom, you can just slap it down. With this Call for Friend, this is a wasted attack, and Marowak does not have a lot of HP and gets knocked out, so this is something that never should have been printed at all, because Call for Friend for 3 energies, that's barbaric. Okay, moving on, we are now in the fossil set here. We skipped the jungle set here with the Marowak, and now we're seeing this monstrosity here, Kabutos with 60 HP. Now you say to yourself, wow, Kabutos, a really nice holographic card. I was so glad I pulled it in my pack in Fossils all the way back a couple of years ago. But now thinking about this was a terrible card competitive wise. It had the Sharp Sickle, dealing 30 damage for 2 energies. So this is all about the HP here. This is a stage 2 Pokemon that had to evolve from the Mysterious Fossil, which only had 10 HP. Then Kabuto had 30 HP, and this stage 2 had 60 HP, which was definitely not great. This could be one-shot by main threats like Scyther, which were, it was a huge card in the format back then because it had free retreat and a great typing. So Grass Weakness, only 60 HP, all the trouble you had to go to just to get your Kabutops into play, and then it has absorbed with 4 fighting energies, dealing 40 damage. Wow. It has a side effect though, remove a number of damage counters from Kabutops equal to the half the damage done to the defending Pokemon. So that definitely is not a great attack. We had to attach 4 energies, and by the time you attached your 4th one, Kabutops would already hit the discard. So that's why it's on this list. Definitely not a great card at that time. Now, yeah, there's also another card I want to talk about with low HP, and that is Dark Alakazam in the Team Rocket set. Team Rocket was kind of famous for printing a lot of cards that were definitely not playable. This Alakazam is kind of playable, but it's on the list here. It has 3 retreat costs. Since when is Alakazam so slow? That is the question I ask myself when making this video. Also, a stage 2 with 60 HP. No, this will not work at all. Definitely, since there were cards that had like 70 HP for a basic like Hitmonchan, this card should never be printed with such a low HP. It does have some decent attacks, but for that point in time, but I would never play Dark Alakazam because once I evolved it, all the energies that it needs, and it always gets knocked out before I can definitely get an attack off. So that's why it's on the list as well. Next up, more Team Rocket's cards. We have the Sleep card, which is a trainer card. There were no supporters or anything for that matter at that point in time. And the thing here is, with Sleep, you could flip a coin. If heads, the opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, which is kind of interesting to get an attack off, maybe with the Hunter of Bayside, with what was it again, the Dream Eater here. Yeah, sorry for that. But then again, it only has 50% chance of staying asleep. Just thinking about that makes my head spin here, because you play an item and expect it to work. You only have 50% chance of it landing a successful sleep on the opponent's active Pokemon. Then between turns, your opponent flips a coin and has chance to get out of that sleep situation. So it is definitely not good as a trainer card just to have your opponent active Pokemon trapped like that, where they cannot attack, which means this will only work 25% of the time, and that's why it's on this list. Next up, more Team Rocket shenanigans with the Thought Wave Machine, also a Rocket Secret Machine, and this card. Wow. Just get your ears open and listen to this one. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, return an energy card attached to your opponent's active Pokemon to your opponent's hand. If the Pokemon has fewer energy cards than that, return all of them to your opponent's hand. And now comes the big story here. Your turn ends, it's over. So what the hell is that even? You cannot even attack anymore. Your turn is over now, it states. So you use that attack, get rid of maybe an energy, but then they can reattach them anyhow. And thinking about things, we had the energy removal and super energy removal, and so why would you ever use this card above those? Because with the energy removal cards, you discard the energy, which means the opponent will not have the capability of reattaching that energy. This is just such a terrible card, and why would you use it? You cannot even attack. Wow. Next up, I have something else here. We have another Team Rocket card. Of course, they printed all of these really terrible cards here. We have Minion of Team Rocket. And this one is even worse than the last one. Flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and return it and all cards attached to it to his or her hand. If one of or both of them are tails, your turn ends immediately. You cannot attack this turn. Wow, they even put that in the side notes here. Wow, are you really serious? So this means that we only have a 25% chance of putting one opponent's bench Pokemon and return it to their hand. Just like the new school Flea GX of Sylveon GX, but then for one Pokemon. And you have to have some serious luck with the dice here. Your luck is not that good, thinking about it, because you have 25% of having a successful land with this item card. and yeah, you have 75% of your turn immediately ending on this card doing totally nothing. What? Yeah, I just as you might expect, this is a really terrible card. The artwork is kind of cool, I guess, but I would never use this in my deck. Definitely, yeah, there were no supporters around at that time, so you all already have, you could play as many trainer cards as you would like, but ending your turn without attacking is definitely not a good way to win the match. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we are now moving on to Gym Heroes. And this is where things get really interesting, because we had, yeah, Blaine's Pokemon were definitely not the best ones. We had the first one here on my list is the Blaine's Kangaskhan, and that Kangaskhan is kind of decent. It has 80 HP, it has its 3 retreat cost, not good. It has a first attack, flip a coin, if tails, it does nothing. Wow, that is a wasted energy slot here, but you can attach a DCE and then deal 30 damage, and flip a coin if heads, you deal 40 damage, otherwise only 30. That attack was kind of decent, I guess, but yeah, why would you use it? Blaine's Kangaskhan, you can never get it out of the active position, and the first attack most of the time will fail. But that is not the worst Blaine card ever. We have Blaine's Moltres, and this is crazy. Yeah, it has 90 HP, good at that time for a basic, but look at this, it needs 5 energies in total to use this attack, which is really not yeah, fun, because you had to you can only attach 1 energy per turn. And thinking about this card, it has also a side effect. So even if you get all the energies attached to it in a miraculous way, we have to flip a coin. If tails, shuffle Blaine's Moltres and all cards attached to it into your deck after doing damage. Okay, it deals 90 damage, that is fair, but then again, for 5 energies it's definitely needed. But then if we land the tails, we shuffle Moltres, and all the energies, after all that work attaching all those energies, everything gets back into the deck, and then we have to start over. So this is not a great card indeed. It's also a fun fact here, the first Pokemon that has an attack cost of 5 energies. So yeah, and nowadays in the format 5 energies is not good. And back then it was even worse, because as soon as you got energies attached, people would play Gust of Winds and put that in the active position and knock it out before you could even do anything. And then again, if this Moltres was your last Pokemon remaining and you use Phoenix Flame and possibly hit tails, then you automatically lose because you don't have backup Pokemon. So that's how terrible this card was. Moving on, we have Charity. Charity is kind of neat, it's not a supporter in that time. Attach Charity to one of your active Pokemon. Unless that Pokemon gets knocked out, return Charity to your hand at the end of your turn. If the Pokemon yeah, you attack with has this card attached, you deal, you can actually reduce your damage by any amount. Yeah, rounded to the nearest 10. So you can reduce damage. Why would you ever want to reduce damage? Wow, that is crazy. If this card was released right now, it could be great to prevent things like an Outrage or yeah, Rage from Tauros GX or Mad Bull GX, to get that thing out there. But at that point in time, you wanted to deal as much damage as you could and just smash through all the opponent's Pokemon. The only use it had was if you were facing a Mr. Mime that could not be attacked by high attacks. So that's the only reason people use this card, but I think it's not a great card at all, and I would never put it in my deck at that time. Okay, next on, we have the Expedition sets here with the e-reader sets, which is yeah, some of the sets I really adore most. The artwork are yeah, the artwork on the cards is really amazing. But here we have Mary's Impulse. We can flip a coin, and here in the time supporters were invented, and where you can only play 1 supporter each turn. Keep that in mind. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, you draw 2 cards. In theory, this sounds great if you're yeah, really lucky and yeah, just throw a couple of heads. But most of the times, 50% of the time, you will get nothing at all. 50% you get 2 cards, and getting 2 cards from a supporter is not great, because we had Bill, which can get you 2 cards. We even had others, Mom's Kindness, and then the days now we have Charon and stuff. So drawing cards, and even Charon in this current format is not good. And that format, flipping coins and not getting anything at all, way too risky. Mary's Impulse was a terrible card and never saw any tournament play. Okay, next up we go on to the shining cards. Shining cards are something that people, everyone around the world knows shining cards because you want to collect them, they're really valuable, but in the competitive scene they were garbage. Yeah, I say that right. Look at this energy cost. Again, 5 energies for this shining Charizard, and then you deal 100 damage and you have to discard an energy, fire one and a lightning one, and you flip a coin. If tails, you hit yourself. So anything about this card was terrible competitive wise, and that's why these shining cards were never used in the competitive scene. They already needed a couple of different energies. Look at this shining Gyarados. You needed a water, a fighting, even fire energies to use attack. So it was just like somebody throw a dart at the board and looked at it and say, okay, yeah, it needs this energy cost, and then they threw again and they, wow, this energy cost. So it was kind of random. I did not understand it at all. Look at this shining Kabutos. It needs fighting energies, lightning energies, water energies. What the F? This will never work. The good thing is they were all basic Pokemon, so all these shining Pokemon were basics, and you cannot have more than one shining of that particular Pokemon in your deck. So at least they had something, because you will never want to fill your deck with these worthless shining cards. They would never attack because the energy costs were too crazy. Next up, moving on with more shining types, we have the Crystal Pokemon, also really expensive. Look at this Kingdra card. Again, they needed those ridiculous energy costs. This one needed water, lightning, psychic, and the attack costs were just way too expensive even at that time to use them, and they were not be able to attack with a single energy. Look at this Golem. It needs a grass energy, a fire energy, and even a fighting energy to get his attack going, and then it also only dealt 50 damage. Is it worth it? Definitely not. The good thing is they had a crystal type going. If you attach an energy of that type, it becomes that type, so you can hit for weakness. But nevertheless, they are stage 2s, most of them, and you even have to use the evolutions in your deck to even get to that point, and by the time you get your evolution going on, you got knocked out. So these crystal types were not good. Even the Lugia, I really adore the Lugia, such a great artwork, but the attacks were garbage. Okay, now that we are in the EX era, actually the old school EXs were not good at all. Here we have Lapras EX. Look at this EX. It has a 3 retreat cost, not good at all. And thinking about EXs take up 2 prize cards. If your opponent knocks something out, they get 2 prize cards. So it's actually worth 2 Pokemon and 1. And the attacks were definitely not worth it to run this card. It has Confusion Ray, 30 damage for 3 energies, and the defending Pokemon is now confused. Why would you want to run an EX that takes up 2 prize cards to only deal 30 damage? With that you're not even gonna knock things out, because there were huge EXs in the format that had a ton of HP. Look at Wailord EX, but these EXs were just underwhelming. These were one of the first EXs in the Ruby and Sapphire era. Also here we have Hitmonchan. This is just not a great card at all, and why, you might ask, is just because the base set Hitmonchan dealt more damage, actually a more steady damage here for a single energy. The Sky Uppercut for 3 energies was not worth giving up 2 prize cards. Also Electabuzz here, giving the same treatment. It's definitely not worth to give up 2 prize cards to run these crazy cards. They are really shiny though, and nice in collection binder nevertheless. Okay, now we move on. We are in Diamond and Pearl era, and now we check out the Unknown. Unknown is a great card in the competitive scene. There are a lot of Unknowns got used here. We got Retire and other Unknowns in the format that are seeing significant amount of play, but this is a true zero. Even its Pokepower stated it itself. Once during your turn, if Unknown Z is on your bench and if you have no cards in your deck, you may discard all cards attached to Unknown Z and put Unknown Z on the top of your deck. Okay, this actually meant that we could not get decked out, I guess, but when you do that and put it on top of your deck, just think about the format we are in. It's a format where Flygon level X was in the format, and Flygon level X discards a card between turns on the top of your deck with its Pokebodies. So this Unknown actually was kind of garbage when the time it was printed. You could never use it, and even if your Pokepower got blocked for some reason here, it could not even activate it. And with 1 card left in your deck, why would you even want to run this? What are the capabilities? Most of the times you would already thrown it away and it's in the discard. So with that, Unknown Zero is a true zero. Okay, next up we have the Night Pokemon Center in Diamond and Pearl again. This is an interesting card. Why is that? Because again, with the coin flips, we need to throw coins. choose one of your Pokemon. That is cool. We choose maybe your active, whatever. We flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, remove all damage counters from that Pokemon. Okay, that is OP. Just like Max Potion but without the downside. If both of them are tails, discard all energies attached to that Pokemon. Okay. Not good at all, unless you have no energies attached to your Pokemon. That could be the case, but most of the times you had a couple of energies attached and you would not use this card because 50% of the time it did nothing. 25% of the time it discarded all of your energies, and 25% of the time again also healed up yourself completely. So 1 and 4 you could actually get a benefit of this card, otherwise it was terrible. Okay, now we are going to the Supreme Victor era, where some really terrible cards were printed. And which Pokemon are those? Well, I'm gonna start with a little bit of good news here. We have this Floatzel, which is not the worst card of the set. This Floatzel only dealt 40 damage as a maximum for 3 energies. Really, at that time? Not a good card at all. Also stage 1 with 70 HP, what the F? Talking about worst cards, we have the Arcanine from the Supreme Victor set. Why is this Arcanine bad? Well, let's just go to the Rising Rival Arcanine, and this is a really great Arcanine. It dealt 60 damage for 2 energies. Also, it dealt more damage with that Flames of Rage, and it had a great ability. It had even 100 HP. This Arcanine is the most terrible card ever printed in a format. In a format where dealing 40 damage for 2 energies was kind of standard, this came out of nowhere, where this Pokemon's energy cost for combustion was a whopping 4 energies. You needed 4 energies to get your attack combustion going and only dealing 40 damage. Even a retreat cost of 3. Wow. Where did Pokemon go wrong and gave this Pokemon the treatment that it never deserved, and they actually made it the worst card of the entire format at that particular time. Nobody wanted to pull this one, even though it was an uncommon. It was rubbish nevertheless. Okay, we are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. It's still not done. This is a long video because you guys seem to like long videos about cards, and now I'm gonna talk about Tropical Wind, which was a promo card, and this Tropical Wind card is definitely not great. Again, with the coin flips, let's just say we're in a good mood and we flip heads. We flip a coin. If we hit heads, remove 2 damage counters from each active Pokemon, so you even help your opponent. Which is something you never want to do, and a potion was even better at that point. If tails, each active Pokemon is now asleep. Yeah, it could be kind of neat to stall, but again, explaining it with all the way back in the beginning of the video, getting your opponent asleep is not great because they have 50% of waking up and you actually did nothing. So this could be a dead card in your deck, and if you throw a heads, you even help your opponent with healing, so that is not great. The artwork, nevertheless, really nice. It has a Torchic that stands on this Psyduck, a Trico in the background, and a Mudkip as well. So really loving the artwork. I'm not loving the competitive method it used and the format. Okay, next up we have, this card is one of the worst ever here. We are going in chronological order here, but this Alpha of Lithograph from the Unleashed set of the Heart Gold Soul Silver era was garbage. It's a secret rare, but it's garbage nevertheless. Shuffle your deck, that's all it did. And if you think about every trainer card out there that searches your deck for something, it gives the additional bonus to shuffle your deck. This card just shuffles your deck. Why would you just want to shuffle your deck? It doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't you rather use Pokeball and flip a coin, and if heads you can search your deck and then shuffle afterwards? Yeah, I know Pokeball is also a terrible card, that's why I'm mentioning it in this video. But yeah, if you want to search your deck, do it with another card, or if you want to shuffle your deck, not with this card. This only shuffles your deck, getting a bonus effect with another item card. Okay, we are moving on with one of the last entries on the list here. We have Call of Legends and its legendaries. Actually, they're shiny legendaries. The secret legendaries here are needing a lot of energies. They are rubbish, they are not good, they need a ton of energies. As an example, I'm gonna start off with which Pokemon will I choose here? We have the worst one ever, which is of course the Kyogre, but there are others like that. I'm gonna keep Kyogre for later. We have Dialga here. Okay, this Dialga dealt 70 damage for 4 energies. Wow! Who in their right mind attaches 4 energies to a Dialga just to deal 70 damage and then shuffle your hand into your deck and then you don't have any cards left in your hand? What? You can even draw cards, you just shuffle your hand. Shuffle your hand into your deck, it's gone, and yeah, you don't have anything to do next turn? Yeah, that's a terrible card indeed. We are moving on here with Kyogre. This Kyogre Secret Legendary, whatever, is the color is kind of purplish, pink, but it's not good. It has again the whopping 4 energy and attack cost. When will this madness stop with Call of Legends? What? With Destructive Tsunami, we flip a coin. If heads, this attack deals 40 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Bang! This is great. In the current format, we have Tapu Koko that does the same thing for a DCE, but dealing 20 damage, so that is definitely a great attack. The downside is, if you flip tails, you deal 40 damage to each of your Pokemon. Wow! What a throwback here. If we flip tails, bam, we get strike. Oh man, no. You don't want to attach 4 energies just to get your coin flip not going your way and destroying your own bench. No. Also a 4 retreat cost. Are you out of your mind? Kyogre does have a little bit more speed than that. Okay, enough about this card. We're gonna move on to the last card of my entire list, which actually came out in the Evolution set, but it came out way earlier in the Japanese counterpart. But here we got it at the Imakuni. It looks ridiculous, and the side effect of the supporter card is ridiculous. Why would you want to waste your own supporter for the turn to make your own active Pokemon confused? Because then you cannot attack unless you flip a heads, otherwise you slap yourself in the face with 30 damage. Okay. It looks ridiculous as mentioned, so you would never want to use your supporter of the turn. Why would you would rather use a Professor Sycamore or anything for that matter, but not use this card? This card is a monstrosity. Why was it printed? It's just laughing at your face. When you open a booster pack and you get this, you actually do the face like with your hands and you say, wow, I don't want to touch this guy, just gonna put it in the trash can or whatever. So this card is garbage. You don't want to pull it. It's not good at all. If it was your opponent's active Pokemon that is confused, I would definitely agree, but then again, for a supporter for the turn, no. And that's my list, guys. Hopefully you stuck with me to witness all the terrible cards that got printed over the years. I know I might have forgotten a lot of them, but this is just my list that I came up with by just chatting with some friends and stuff, and these is the cards that we think deserve a spot on this list. If you think I forgot a few, definitely put it in the comment section, and if you enjoy videos like these, definitely show your support by destroying the like button. You know I always appreciate that, and it gives me the support to make more and better content for you guys. Definitely check my weekly episodes if you want to learn more about the competitive scene. Otherwise, I'll be making videos like these as well, just for you guys. Anyways, have an awesome day, the rest of your week, and I'll be seeing you guys soon with more Pokemon trading card game videos. I'm out. Peace.